Hey folks, Mel the Train Shooter back in the studio and back with a BTS behind the scenery. What's going on? Which can mean only one thing. Rambles, dodgy shots, all that sort of stuff, and my ugly face. Right, what's today about? Dead simple. Today is a bit of an update about where I've been this past week and so. And also I'm going to try and swing this into a public service announcement. Now, you will notice that I'm sort of taking a few deep breaths. And that's because, for some damn reason, I've got a hell of an attack of anxiety on me. Yeah? And it's been going on for about 2 weeks now. And it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not all over the place. I've just got this overwhelming feeling of anxiety. And it's driving me nuts. It really is. Now, where it's come from, I don't know. To be truthful, yeah, a couple of stressful things going on in my life. There always is. Yeah, I'm still sort of getting myself back up, so getting on the channel and all that sort of stuff, and stuff with the car, and I had an engine light come on briefly for a second in the heat, and I don't know, yeah, but it's really sort of knocked me for six. Now, the reason I'm here and the reason why I'm drinking is because when you have feelings of anxiety, it sort of leaves you like short-breathed. It also leaves you really dry mouthed. And you don't sort of relax into things, which makes filming a nightmare. Yeah, because I've tried to film a few things and I've just seemed to be on edge on it. And so it was a lot worse. This is, I'm a lot better now, yeah. But it's just really sort of bowled me over. And so I just wanted to sort of do a BTS and just touch base and say, hey, look, I am healthy and everything. It's just this, and it's come out of nowhere. And it's really sort of got to me because I haven't had any issues with anxiety. Yeah? Like, I haven't felt like this in over a year. I've been off my anxiety meds since the end of 2020. So we're a year and a half since I've been on any sort of medication for my anxiety, and I've been good. But this has just come out of nowhere. Now, I do know quite a bit about anxiety, because, that sort of stuff. Now, quick off, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm drilling my palm trees. See? Palm tree, pin vise, I'm drilling them. Now, the reason I'm drilling them, I'll go off topic for a little bit, just to chat, because I do. This is the reason why I haven't been doing these Sunday nights and stuff like that, because I just haven't felt like I can relax in front of them. And one of the reasons I'm forcing myself to do this BTS video is to sort of like, come on, just break the habit, before being in front of the camera becomes an issue. But very quickly, I am currently putting screws into the bottom of my palm trees. Yeah, now they're only going in a little way, yeah, because once I've just basically put them in, I'm screwing them right flush, and then, yeah, bases, cleared out the bases, I'm throwing some magnets on them, and I'm magnetising my palm trees. Now at this stage, I'm still sort of figuring out what works and that sort of stuff, yeah, and I'm doing a lot of work, not just on the palm trees, but on a few other things, off camera, yeah, because of this. Woosa. It's really weird because everything's relatively okay. I've been in far more stressful things and had far more things going on in my life and that sort of stuff than is going on currently. And yet, it drives me nuts. So anyway, you see, the other thing, yeah, with with anxiety is it stops you concentrating, throws you off balance, so you're all over the place. So I've got terrain on the go. I'm sort of filming it off camera. Oh, I'm not filming it off camera. I'm doing loads of stuff off camera and all this sort of stuff, just so I can narrow it down and just do, right, these are the bits I need to do for the camera shooting. Yeah, so I can do the video. So fingers crossed. Yeah. Wish me luck on this. You should have a video on magnetising palm trees. Yeah, ironically, you've probably seen everything you need to know about magnetising palm trees and how I'm going to do it by now, so hey ho. But it's how we roll. There's also volcanoes coming because I've got stuck into them. But in the meantime, yeah, Right. In the meantime, yeah, anxiety. Why am I anxious and all this sort of stuff? Well, actually, there's a couple of reasons. Okay. Now, yes, I've got a few stresses in my life. Everyone knows, you know, what you call it. I've been getting myself back on the channel. Last month was a difficult month because of the lungs and everything, and sort of put me behind. So that's stressing me a bit. Yeah. The fact that a couple of months ago, you know, my savings were pretty much wiped out by needing a new alternator and battery and other stuff on the car. Yeah. And then just watch, not long ago, I had a hazard light come up again. It was like, oh no. So little things like that can trigger anxiety. Now, I haven't had anxiety for, like I say, over a year. Not like this. You know, I've had periods of being anxious, and I've had little mini, you know, anxiety attacks when things have happened, and, you know, getting back in front of the camera and stuff like that. But they were transitory. You know, they came, they were affecting me at the time because I was doing something, and then after I got into it and that sort of stuff, woof. And we saw that through the reconnecting videos. You know, I was awkward at the start, and then as I started talking and everything, yeah, it just flowed. So that's one of the things. Now, the other thing is, heat can actually trigger feelings of anxiety. Because one of the issues with anxiety is when you get anxious, yeah, you get short of breath. You breathe quite quick. And it builds up carbon dioxide in the lungs. And that triggers a sort of anxious response. And so a mixture of, you know, me having previous lung issues and that sort of stuff, and the fact that Britain is going through a ridiculous heat wave at the minute, and so everyone is sort of struggling to breathe and breathe freely and breathe freshly, sort of increases the carbon dioxide in your system. So one of the reasons I think I've been feeling so anxious and that sort of stuff is simply the heat wave. Just the normal stresses of life, which would be normal triggers, but because I'm sort of, because of the lungs and because of the heat, I'm sort of at a higher level, and I'm sort of being mini triggered the whole way along, and it's just rolling, even though I'm grounding myself and I'm doing everything right. And to be perfectly honest, if this goes on and it doesn't calm down after this weekend when our heat wave should calm down, yeah, I'm probably going to reach out to the docs and see about, you know, maybe getting a low dose of something, take the edge off this. Yeah, because this is biological. Yeah, this isn't mental. Yeah, this, you know, I know that for sure. Yeah, so I reckon it's just the heat. I reckon it's just a few things in my life and, you know, little stresses and wanting to connect with you guys, which, as I'm doing, I even feel like I'm relaxing right now. You know, you can tell in the way I'm talking and that sort of stuff. Works good, doesn't it? It's good to talk, so we should. So that's what's been going on. Yeah. Now, when you feel like this, I'm going to try and do a bit of a public service announcement on this, because I know a lot of people who follow me do struggle with various things. And I know that in the past when I've explained things, and I've sort of explained things from a medical point of view, yeah, it's helped a lot of people because, you know, I've got a knack of explaining things. So, anxiety is very much about your body, sort of. You can get normal anxiety, which is, for most of us, it's a brown envelope coming through the letterbox. Like, oh God, what? That's a tax, that's a benefits, that's not good. Please let it be a statement, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Or it can be like, you know, with the car, having to blow out all the savings I had and, you know, my sort of survival money to get it back on the road, and then just a warning light flicking on and triggering that sort of response. Yeah? And they can be completely normal, anxious response. Just like, you know, going for a job interview. You know, and the response is the same. You feel nervous, you feel unsettled. You know, you don't feel focused. Your mind's not right on it. Your mouth goes dry. You get like a sicky feeling. You know what I mean? Like your stomach's empty even though it isn't. And so, all those are biological. All of them. Okay? First off, the breathing and that sort of stuff. You sort of like a mini hyperventilating. And anxiety is like a fight or flight response. Yeah? It's your body thinking, oh, you're in trouble. You know? Hype up. Yeah? And so the reason why you feel sicky is because it goes into a fight or flight response. It shifts the blood from your stomach, where about 70% of your blood is when you're at rest. and it puts in your muscles so you're ready to go. The problem is if you've got something, or if you've got some food in your stomach or something like that, which you normally do, it makes you feel sick because your body wants to, like, well, you know, in a real flight or flight response, when it really ramps up, your body will go, no, I'm getting rid of that food because I want that processing blood it's using elsewhere in my body. And so it can shift like that. It can mean that you don't sleep properly, okay, because you're on edge, because your body is, your brain is alert, okay. The breathing, yeah, it's no different than when you're preparing yourself for a run or something like that. Now that's perfectly fine if you're about to run away from a saber-toothed tiger or an attacker in a bush who's going to drag you in and steal all your minis or do something horrible like that. But when there's no actual threat, yeah, these sort of things, they become issues themselves. And what happens with anxiety order is normally you have a threat, you have a bit of anxiety, you deal with it, the anxiety goes. Because anxiety is actually a positive thing. Anxiety is what gets you out of bed in the morning. Anxiety is what makes sure that you do the jobs that make sure that you get paid and you bring food in and you earn money and that sort of stuff, and you motivate yourself. Because it's that anxiety of what the hell happens to my life if I don't. Yeah? And that's perfectly normal. And one of the problems with actual anti-anxiety medications is sometimes it can completely remove, yeah, the feelings of any anxiety and leave you in a position where you're sort of, you don't even have the sort of anxiety about, do I look good? Am I looking after myself? Am I caring about myself? You know, basic personal hygiene stuff. And so anxiety is actually quite a positive motivator of, like, no, I need to wash and look good, you know, present myself to the world. I need to get myself in the studio. I need to connect with you guys. You know, I need to produce videos to earn money and pay for cars and all that sort of stuff. So anxiety is a positive thing. Now, the problem is, with anxiety, it's like anything in the human body. The more you use, well, almost anything, but the more you use it, yeah, the better it gets. Okay, so if you do lots and lots of, like, brain training, quizzes and crosswords and all that sort of stuff, your brain gets better at it. If you do a lot of swimming, yeah, and you're under the water holding your breath a lot, your lung capacity increases to improve holding your breath. If you go to the gym and beefcake it, yeah, then your muscles develop. If you go running, your cardiovascular system develops. If you become a competitive eater and eat kilos and kilos of watermelon every day, your stomach will stretch so you can end up doing these man versus food challenges and eating, like, ridiculous amounts of food. Your body adapts. It's very good at it. The problem is, if you go through lots and lots, yeah, of anxious situations, it's like beefcaking your anxiety system. Your adrenal glands, yeah, they get bigger so they can put out more adrenaline, yeah, because you're really good at getting anxious at this point and that fight or flight response. Yeah, the triggers that trigger them, they get more and more sensitive so they're sharper, which is great if you're training in martial arts. But if it's anxiety, yeah, it's not good for you, because what happens is, if you've been through all these sort of anxious sort of situations, and I'm going to carry on drilling while I talk, yeah, if you've been through all these sort of anxious situations, then what happens is, yeah, your adrenal system gets better, your triggers get more triggier, yeah, and any little thing triggers an overflow, yeah, of adrenaline. Yeah, that's nothing. So, whereas normal, yeah, you would get a brown envelope or see a car warning light and, oh God, open it up, that's fine. With someone who's gone through a lot of anxiety, yeah, what you get is you get a, you get a far stronger response. And the response is so much that even once you've checked the brown envelope or the light's gone and you know it was just something simple, yeah, nothing to worry about, the level of anxiety is still really high. It's really up there. And what this does, yeah, is it means that once you've checked in normal, it should have gone away. It stays. You stay anxious. And then your body starts panicking, yeah, because it doesn't know what it's anxious about, yeah. And so it gets even more anxious because it starts focusing in on, well, Why do you feel sick? You know, not consciously, but subconsciously. Well, if the threat isn't out there, yeah, then why do you feel? Why is your heart pounding? Why, you know? And basically, it makes it worse. And that's what leads up to an actual panic attack. It's sort of a spiraling of a trigger that triggers a hypersensitive and hyper-developed, sort of flight or flight response in your body, but kicks out such a massive one that actually when the trigger's been sorted, there's still so much adrenaline in your system and you're still feeling so off that, that it actually causes you to be more anxious. Yeah, and it can be crippling. I mean, it can literally make your chest seize, your legs collapse, and I've collapsed onto the floor with it. And as I'm talking to you now, I can feel my chest tightening as I talk about the anxiety and the experiences, and that's because I'm relating back to my experiences of where, it did. So, that's what anxiety is about. Yeah, that's what happens with anxiety. Yeah, that's why it's, anxiety is perfectly normal and it's designed to get us through life. But if you've gone through quite a heavy lot, it can be quite detrimental. Now, what's really surprised me out of all of this is I haven't felt like this in like over a year. So I thought my adrenal systems and all my fight, nicely calmed down. And yet just a few extra variables, a few stresses in my life. Yeah, and then, just being behind on the channel, and then car warning light. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, bit of heat. And I found myself feeling like I did well over a year ago. And almost considering medication, if this doesn't clear up. And so, I'm quite surprised by how long, I thought I was well over that. So, that's sort of an awareness for me, and something for you guys as well, that even if you are over it, just be aware in the hot weather and that sort of stuff. Now, finally, I am going to make this a PSA because I've explained it and that sort of stuff, and I'm feeling good that I've made this a positive video, and hopefully someone can find some good out of it. But on top of that, what to do? Okay, so how do you deal with anxiety? Well, the first thing is you get medication. If you've got a really oversensitive anxiety system and you're suffering with panic attacks, you need to chemically force that response down until your body adjusts. Yeah, like I did. I was on a course of medication for about 6 months. Yeah, I was on citalopram, which is a low dose of citalopram, which is what's called an SSRI, which basically, it dampens down nervous responses. Okay, you don't get so excitable, you don't get so fretty, you also don't get so happy or that sort of stuff. Yeah, but it works. Well, you do get a bit more happy, but it's good stuff. So, if you do suffer with real anxiety and that sort of stuff, go speak to your doctor, okay? Don't be panicking about it. Don't think it's a weakness as a bloke. It's a sign that you've been through a hell of a lot. The only reason you have anxiety disorder is because you've been through a lot. End of. Yeah? So, first thing, if you do suffer anxiety, get appropriate medical. Just get a low dose of anti-anxiety, or some beta blockers. Yeah, beta blockers are tablets that, that you just take as and when you're feeling anxious. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have any. Otherwise, I would take some. Yeah, but they're just they just work in the moment. Yeah, so if you don't want to be I don't want to be on medication, pack a beta blockers in the drawer. If you have problems, that's great. Okay, let's say you're medicated, that sort of stuff, and you want to do more, or you want to, you don't want to rely just on medication to deal with your problems. Yeah, there's a couple of things that you can do. First off, with anxiety gets you when you're low. Okay, so, make sure you eat regularly. Yeah, and eat properly. 3 meals a day, don't have to be big ones, but get regular food in you so your blood sugars are up. Okay, that's a massive one, because although low blood sugars won't trigger anxiety, it will make you more prone to anxiety. Your body will kick into that flight or flight response, and then one of the things will be, I'm low on energy, and it'll panic over that as well. So making sure your blood sugars are up and that sort of stuff, that's good. Next thing is exercise. Yeah, that carbon dioxide clearing the lungs, yeah, that's good. In a heat wave, it's difficult to exercise, but get yourself in the evening in the shade, somewhere cool where you can take some nice deep breaths. Yeah, it's one of the things that I do regularly, and it works really well. Okay, sleep is another good one. Yeah, and that's switching your screens off using the 3-2-1 rule. So, to get a decent night's sleep, what you've got to do is 3 hours before you intend to go to sleep, switch off from work. Yeah, do not be doing any work, any college work or anything like that 3 hours before you intend to go to sleep. Yeah, because it will be on your mind. It'll take about 3 hours for all your little things and the little ideas you have, and I've got to do that to filter out. Yeah, and so it's not bothering you with your sleep. Second, yeah, no, sorry, 3 hours before we watch it. 3 to 1 is 3 hours. Don't eat anything before 3 hours, so your stomach is clear. Okay, 2 hours before, yeah, stop working, and then 1 hour before, stop your screen time, because that messes up your brain. So that will help you sleep as well. Now, on top of that, sleep. The best thing you can do for sleep is be regular. So pick a bedtime, pick a waking up time, and stick to it. Yeah. Doesn't matter if you're at work, doesn't matter if you're at college, doesn't matter if it's the weekend. You have a bedtime, you have a getting up time. Stick to it. Your body does not like things being irregular. If you swap and change how you sleep, yeah, it's another one of those situations that, one, you're not so recovered. Two, you're in a situation where your body, when it kicks into that flight or flight mode, is, I don't know when I'm going to get to rest. Yeah, because you're all over the place. Yeah, so these late nights and staying up, and I'm a night owl. Yeah, if you're saying you're a night owl and you've got anxiety, yeah, you being a night owl is playing into your anxiety. So there's just some simple things: sleep, eat, and exercise that can drastically improve the chances of you being prone to anxiety attacks and stuff like that, and can reduce the amount of anxiety in you. The next thing I want to talk about, and the final thing, is a technique if you have an anxiety attack and either you've taken medication that's not kicked in, or you don't have access to medication at that time. I want to talk about grounding. So what's grounding? Right, as I said, when you get an anxiety attack, what happens is it's triggered by something minor. Your hypersensitive thing kicks off, floods your system, and then your subconscious sort of like has a panic trying to keep you alive, wondering why you're so anxious. Yeah, and then it panics and you get this cycle. And you internalize, the harder, your chest tightens, the sicker you feel, the quicker you pant, the harder your heart beats, the more you focus on those, and the more the cycle repeats. So grounding is a technique for breaking this cycle. And what it is, it's about forcing your body's senses to focus on the outside and not the inside. Now, there's a proper way of doing this, and then there's the boastful, brutal way. Yeah, I'm going to tell you the proper, and then I'm going to tell you what I do. Yeah, you do you, boo. Okay, but the proper way is, it's about grounding all 5 senses. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to listen to something, taste something, smell something, read something with your sight, yeah, and what's the other sense? Feel something. Okay, now I tried that. You tasted this, tasted that, and I figured, actually, yeah, I can shotgun this, and it works. Grounding does work. All you got to do is, because what it does is, you force him to read something. It makes your mind think more logically and rather less panicky. Yeah, you thought, the tasting, yeah, it overrides the sicky feeling for a temporary bit, and it breaks the cycle. Yeah, the listening to stuff stops you listening to your heartbeat. Okay, it's actually really good. But I came up with a more brutal way. Now, my way, yeah, is to basically, because I had some pretty brutal panic attacks. Yeah, like, even when I dealt with them, it'd take me 2 or 3 days to get over them. Yeah, and even to sort of feel like this, which was normal for me back then. Yeah, so my way of dealing and grounding myself is to get a spoonful of raw instant coffee, yeah, and eat it, just in your mouth. Then go straight to the freezer, open the freezer, take out a packet of whatever is in the freezer, and stick my hand into into the freezer, whilst trying to read the tiniest instruction, the tiniest ingredients on the packet that possibly can. And 5 minutes, stop an anxiety attack. The taste alone is enough to knock your senses, yeah, of your sicky feeling. Yeah, you put your hand in your freezer, trust me, forget feeling something, feeling the texture of something. You're going to feel something. You're going to feel your hand getting damn cold and it's going to hurt. And your body and your fight or flight response is going to be, I know what the problem is. You've got your hand in the freezer, take it out. And you're like, no, not till you calm down. Also, another good one is having your hand in the freezer actually has a cooling effect on the blood. Yeah, when you have when you have an anxiety attack, you sort of hyperventilate, you get hot. So sticking your hand in the freezer actually cools your blood as it goes round your hand, and it gives cool blood back in. And then just the reading bit, I did that, so I was like still doing it. But it works, okay? And it's a validation that the idea that sort of grounding yourself and sort of forcing your senses. So if you do struggle with panic attacks or even moments of feeling panicky, yeah, you can ground yourself, okay? And it's dead easy. Like I say, taste something bitter or strong, listen to something, yeah, read something, yeah, feel something. And this isn't just me making this up. Grounding is a legitimate technique. There's lots of information on it on the National Health Service website, the NHS website, as well on the internet as well. So all you got to do is just do a quick Google search, anxiety grounding techniques. Yeah, and you'll find tons of information that'll help you. Now, I'm not sure if I'm sort of short breath because I've just talked solidly for 26 minutes on anxiety. Yeah, or where it's the anxiety itself. But I am feeling a little less anxious for connecting for you, and I feel like I've done some good with what I'm going through. So it's a positive for me, and I'm feeling good. Yeah, that's good. It's crazy. Anxiety is absolutely crazy. Right, guys. I have got a hobby to get stuck in with, even with me and me going out for me fresh airs. But I'm getting there. In the meantime, if you want to help me out, make life less stressful, well, there's the PayPal link down below. Yeah, it all helps, you know. But most important thing is get in the comments. Yeah, if this video has helped you, yeah, just let me know in the comments, because that sort of positive feedback, that does me good, and you're really helping me. Yeah. Also, any other tricks with anxiety, anything any of you old soldiers have learned, yeah, you can share with me. Or anyone else also, yeah, listen, anyone else who's feeling anxious because of the heat. Is this just me? Yeah, or is that legit? You know what I mean? So, PayPal links down below. Links are on screen, as always. I am cracking on. I've not disappeared. I am coming back to teach you. We are doing the palm tree. Wobbly palm trees. Yeah, it's good. So in the meantime, folks, I'll see you on Tuesday, yeah? I'll see you on Tuesday. All the best, yeah. Ta-ra.